Well, hello there, YouTube. Welcome to my white walls. It's 4th of July, and I am not feeling it. Somewhere in between the Supreme Court recently ruling that gerrymandering is A-OK, and the concentration camps, and God knows what else. I've lost track. So I thought I would dedicate a video to a kind of apologist behavior that I've noticed on the left. And there was a particular YouTuber who I generally really like who kind of demonstrated this behavior for me. And so here's a
millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
Why 12 years? Well, a few weeks before AOC made the comments, the IPCC had warned that we had just 12 years to keep temperatures from rising 1.5 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels. Intentional or not, AOC took this scientific analysis and exaggerated it to the point of absurdity. Calling it hyperbole doesn't make it any more acceptable. People who want to represent the science in the political arena shouldn't be exaggerating.
Yeah, so that was it. It's one minor, I don't even know if you could call it a gaffe. It's a point of expression. It's a point of sentiment for how a lot of people are feeling, not just millennials. There doesn't seem like a day that goes by in my news feed where I'm not reminded of species extinction, natural disasters, climate catastrophe. I mean, I witnessed firsthand the California fires last year, and it was a real reminder to me about how fragile life is on this little pod. And from my perspective, thank God that there's somebody who's voicing the concerns that a lot of us have. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. And so I don't understand why a science YouTuber would spend disproportionate amounts of effort criticizing somebody who's genuinely trying to make the world a better place, like genuinely trying to have an honest conversation about the problems we're having and create solutions.
Once you start wildly exaggerating, then no one will believe anything you say.
I mean, I hear potholers' concerns about misattribution, when public figures say incorrect things, but shit happens, and in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think it deserves that much. Are you assuming that trolls are going to treat you fairly if you somehow behave differently? Like, is that how trolls work? It doesn't make any sense. And it's the road to ruin. And I think in large part, it's kind of emblematic of how we've gotten into the situation we're in.
If you say we can't reproduce the species, of course we won't. It's your call.
Okay. You can do it. It's all up to you. Okay. With a little plan, you can change your life today. You don't have to spend your life addicted to smack, homeless on the streets giving handjobs for crack.
Yeah, so just a little comic relief. Why comport your behavior according to fears of what trolls might do? I mean, do you suppose that if you say the right things that they somehow won't behave that way? I mean, is there a point where they're going to respect honest discourse and care about fairness? Why let trolls dictate your behavior? And this is something I really love about AOC, is she's not doing that. And this is why Fox News just cannot get enough of her. She's not editing herself according to the dictates of Fox or Rupert Murdoch. And the last thing I wanted to say about Potholer's video is, I wish he would dedicate a proportionate amount of time to critiquing things like the news sources, like money in politics and money in our scientific discourse. I mean, maybe he could dedicate a video to talking about how the Koch brothers donated a bunch of money to a gazillion Republican politicians and made them sign a pledge that they would do absolutely nothing about climate change in 2012, I think it was. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's really polluting the discourse in our country. That's the kind of stuff that's creating all this confusion and creating all these fake thought leaders. Like, but where's the video dedicated to that? Like, I really love Potholer's videos, but and he dedicates it to just facts. But in terms of looking at the sources of confusion in scientific literacy, AOC is not the root cause.